You know, there is a peculiar kind of suffering that only the deep souls of this world truly understand. It is the feeling of being out of place, not because anything is wrong with you, but because the world around you seems to be dancing to a rhythm you cannot hear. And perhaps you felt this, a quiet ache beneath the ribs, a sense of drifting, even when life appears perfectly fine on the surface. If that is so, then listen closely, because this message was made for you. You see, many people walk through life as if they are following a map someone else drew. They know the landmarks, success, approval, belonging, reputation, but a deep soul you moves not by maps, but by currents, invisible ones. You feel the world differently. You sense its textures, its contradictions, its illusions. And in sensing so much, you sometimes feel too much. Have you noticed how exhausting it can be to live in a society that values speed over presence, noise over depth, achievement over understanding? You move slowly, thoughtfully, while the world rushes past like a frantic wind. Most people are running towards something they cannot name, but you pause, you question, you wonder. And often that pause makes you feel alone. For deep souls, loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the absence of resonance. And perhaps there are moments, quiet, unspoken, when you look at your own life and whisper to yourself, why do I feel different? Why can't I be like everyone else? But here's the secret, you were never meant to be like everyone else. In fact, the very feeling of misalignment you carry is the evidence of your depth. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine for a moment that you are an instrument, not a common one, played loudly in the streets, but a rare instrument, quiet, delicate, exquisitely tuned. Place such an instrument in the middle of a noisy marketplace, and naturally, it will feel overwhelmed, misunderstood, out of place. But place it in the right environment, stillness, intention, honesty, and suddenly its sound becomes sacred. This is why deep souls feel misaligned, not because they are broken, but because the modern world plays a music they were never built for. You see, society today is obsessed with a peculiar game, the game of becoming. Everyone is trying to become something faster, richer, smarter, more admired, always becoming, never being. But a deep soul senses the absurdity in this chase. You feel the hollowness beneath the noise, the artificial urgency, the strange pressure to run, though no one knows where. And so you drift between two worlds, the world of form, jobs, roles, expectations, and the world of formlessness, silence, awareness, intuition. Most people live only in the first. You, however, live in both. And that duality is disorienting. It is like standing with one foot in the ocean and one foot on the shore. You feel the pull of the tides and the weight of the land. So naturally, you ask, where do I belong? But belonging, you see, is a trick of the mind, because you were never meant to fit into a world that worships the shallow. You were meant to remember the depth. And though the world may not always understand you, your inner world does. It has always known. Now, let us walk deeper together. Let us explore why a deep soul is not a misfit in this world, but a mirror, revealing everything the world has forgotten. Now, let us drift deeper into this strange mystery of being a sensitive, conscious creature in a world that has forgotten its own depth. To understand why you feel misaligned, you must first understand something rather amusing about human society. It behaves as if it were permanent, but everything it worships is temporary. The systems we live in, the rules we follow, the expectations we chase, they are like sand castles built near the tide, elaborate, impressive, yet constantly threatened by a single wave. And the deep soul sees this. You see the fragility of it all. Most people believe life is a ladder, something to climb, but you feel instinctively that life is more like a meadow, something to wander through. And while others compete for the tallest blade of grass, you marvel at the breeze. This already sets you apart. You see, a deep soul is not an achievement based entity. You are a perception based being. You navigate not by goals, but by meaning, not by noise, but by resonance, not by pressure, but by understanding. And because of that, the modern world often feels like a poorly tailored suit, too tight in some places, too loose in others. Let me give you an image. Imagine you are a tree, a very old one with the roots stretching far into the unseen. Most trees grow quickly toward the sun, but you grow both upward and downward. Your branches reach for the light, while your roots dig into the dark. You explore both dimensions of existence, the visible and the hidden. This dual existence makes you feel things others overlook. You notice the subtle tremble in someone's voice when they say, I'm fine. You sense the emptiness behind forced laughter. You feel the energy of a room before a single word is spoken. And while others are fascinated by the surface, you are immersed in the depths beneath it. Now, here's where the trouble begins. A world obsessed with surfaces does not know what to do with someone who can see through them. This is why deep souls often feel like outsiders, not because you stand apart from the world, but because you see the world from the inside out. Most people look at life as if they are tourists passing through, but you look at life as if it were a mirror, reflecting the infinite back at you. And when you see life this way, you cannot help but question everything. You question why people chase things they don't truly want. You question why society equates busyness with importance. You question why silence is feared and why stillness is mistaken for laziness. But the most important question you ask is this: why am I here? Why am I here? The modern world offers answers, of course, but most of them are unsatisfying. Do more, earn more, improve more, become more. This is the motto of the age. But to a deep soul, this sounds like a cosmic joke, because you sense instinctively that more is a bottomless pit. You see that the modern world, despite its sophistication, is frightened. It is frightened of emptiness, frightened of silence, frightened of the unknown. So it fills every corner with noise. But you, are drawn to the spaces between the notes, to the intervals, to the quiet currents beneath the surface of things. This is why you feel misaligned, not because you are out of sync with life, but because you are in sync with something deeper than society. Let me tell you a secret, one that most people never discover. Life is not a problem to solve, it is a song to hear. But to hear the song, you must be quiet enough inside to listen. A deep soul is like a finely tuned instrument. You pick up frequencies others cannot detect. You hear the longing beneath the laughter. You hear the fear beneath the anger. You hear the truth beneath the noise. No wonder you feel different. The world has become louder while you have become quieter. The world moves faster while you move deeper. And in that contrast, a sense of misalignment naturally arises. But remember this: depth is not meant to fit into speed, Silence is not meant to fit into noise, and consciousness is not meant to fit into chaos. You feel misaligned because you are hearing a different rhythm, the rhythm of your own being. To understand this misalignment more clearly, we must now step gently into the inner architecture of the mind itself. You see, the mind of a deep soul does not function like the mind of the average person, not because it is superior, but because it is designed to perceive more. Imagine for a moment that the ordinary mind is like a small window. It lets in enough light to navigate daily life, tasks, conversations, ambitions, routines. But your mind is more like a vast skylight. It does not merely let light in, it invites the whole sky. And with this wider opening comes a wider awareness. You notice subtleties that others overlook because your inner senses are attuned to nuances, tones, moods, vibrations. This is the first psychological feature of a deep soul, heightened sensitivity. Not sensitivity in the sense of fragility, but sensitivity in the sense of perception. Like a seismograph detecting tremors before an earthquake, your consciousness detects movements in the world long before they become obvious to others. And this can be profoundly confusing in modern society because modern society praises the obvious, but you sense the invisible. Most people act only when something becomes loud, urgent, or impossible to ignore, but you feel its presence long before that moment. You notice the shift in energy in a conversation. You notice the subtle distance forming between two people. You notice what is unsaid, often more loudly than what is said. This kind of perception creates a strange tension inside you. Your mind is designed to explore depths, yet the world is designed to reward surfaces. Now, the second psychological feature of a deep soul is this: you process meaning, not information. Most people move through life gathering information like bees collecting pollen, one task after another, one goal after another, with very little reflection. But you are not satisfied with information. You want meaning. You do not merely ask, what do I need to do? You ask, why am I doing it? You do not ask, what should I want? You ask, what rings true for me? This search for meaning often places you at odds with a society that moves too quickly to wonder about such things. And so the deep soul feels like a misfit, not because of lack of intelligence, but because of excess awareness. The third psychological feature is something quite beautiful. Your emotional experiences are layered. Most people feel emotions the way one might skim stones across a lake, touching the surface, then moving on. But you feel emotions like waves that move through the entire ocean of your being. A single moment of beauty can overwhelm you. A single moment of sadness can stay with you for days. Not because you are weak, but because you are deep. When you love profoundly. When you grieve honestly. When you sense truth, it resonates through your entire being. This intensity, however, is difficult for the modern world to understand. The world wants quick emotions, manageable emotions, efficient emotions. But your emotions resist efficiency. They insist on depth. The fourth feature of the deep soul is something even rarer. You are aware of awareness itself. Most people live as if their thoughts are reality, but you at times observe your thoughts from a slight distance, watching them rise and fall like ripples on the surface of a pond. This capacity for self awareness is not common, it is the seed of wisdom. But in a society built on distraction, this seed can feel like a burden because when you see yourself clearly, you also see the world clearly. And much of what you see does not make sense. The rush, the noise, the endless pursuit of things that do not satisfy. This clarity can create a sensation of distance, as if you are watching a play unfold, but no longer fully believing in the script. And finally, the fifth psychological feature, you long for authenticity. This longing is not a preference but a necessity. You feel suffocated by conversations that are mechanical, relationships that are performative, and environments that lack sincerity. A deep soul cannot thrive in artificiality the way a fish cannot thrive in shallow water. You require depth, truth, silence, meaning, and these things are becoming harder to find. So naturally, you feel misaligned, but the misalignment is not a defect, it is a sign that your inner nature remains intact despite the pressures of the world. And once you understand this inner architecture, you begin to see that nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is missing. Your mind, your heart, your sensitivity, they were simply designed for a different kind of world, a deeper one, a truer one. Now, let us take a deeper turn, a turn into the heart of the matter where the insight lives, not in the mind, not in the intellect, but in the silent core that watches everything unfold. Because here is the first great realization. You don't feel misaligned because the world is wrong for you. You feel misaligned because you are growing beyond the world you were taught to obey. You see, society trains human beings like gardeners trimming trees, cutting here, shaping there, forcing growth in straight lines that look neat on paper. But deep souls do not grow in straight lines. You grow like wild forests, unpredictable, intricate, alive. And so the gardener calls you misaligned, when in truth you are simply not meant to be pruned. That is the first insight. Here is the second, and it is even more startling. You are not here to adapt to the world. You are here to reveal the world for what it is. Most people mistake the world for reality, but the world is merely a story, a narrative created by the collective habits of human minds. It is a costume, a performance, a shared dream. Deep souls feel misaligned because you sense the dream. You can see the machinery behind the curtain. You can hear the silence beneath the noise. You know, in some quiet internal way, that life is not the roles people play, nor the goals they chase, nor the mask they wear. You live closer to the raw pulse of existence. And so the world feels too small not because it excludes you, but because it cannot contain the whole of you. Let me give you an image, simple but revealing. A fish does not feel misaligned when placed in a lake. It feels misaligned only when placed in a bowl. Your soul is built for the ocean, but the world keeps handing you bowls. And here's the third insight. Most of the suffering you feel does not come from who you are, but from who you are pretending to be in order to be understood. A deep soul trims its words, lowers its intensity, softens its perception just to keep the peace. But something inside you resists, because truth cannot shrink itself without feeling pain. You feel misaligned because you bend, not because you break. Most people live lives of quiet imitation, but you feel restless when living untruthfully. This is not a flaw, it is the signature of authenticity. Now, here is an insight most do not dare to consider. The world you feel misaligned with is not the real world. It is the world constructed by collective fear: fear of being judged, fear of standing still, fear of being alone with oneself. And so humanity distracts itself with ambition, noise, conflict, entertainment. But you cannot be distracted for long because your awareness pierces through illusion, like sunlight through mist. You cannot unsee what you have seen. You cannot unknow what you have known. You cannot unfeel what you have felt. This clarity can feel like a burden, but in truth, it is a gift. You are awake in a world half asleep. And of course, that creates friction. Of course, you feel misaligned. Deep sight is always misunderstood by shallow vision. Let me reveal something even deeper. You are not misaligned with society. Society is misaligned with life. Life moves in cycles. Society demands straight lines. Life flows. Society forces. Life expresses. Society suppresses. You feel misaligned because you are aligned with life's natural rhythm: the ebb and flow, the inhale and exhale, the rise and fall. The world chases permanence, but you sense impermanence as truth. The world chases identity, but you sense identity as illusion. The world chases meaning, but you sense meaning as something discovered in stillness, not manufactured by effort. And so we arrive at the heart of the insight. You feel misaligned because you are awakening. Awakening is a strange experience. It feels like dissolving and expanding at the same time. Awakening does not make the world easier to bear. It makes the truth impossible to ignore. And the truth is this: you are not here to fit into the world. You are here to remember that you are the world, experiencing itself through the lens of a single fleeting life. When this insight sinks into your bones, something extraordinary happens. The misalignment becomes a compass, a guide, a doorway. It stops being a wound and becomes a whisper, calling you inward, calling you home. Now that we have wandered together through the inner architecture of your depth, let us step gently toward something even more practical, perhaps even more transformative: how to live with this misalignment, not as a burden, but as a compass guiding you toward a truer way of being. Because insight, no matter how beautiful, must eventually fall like rain upon the soil of daily life. And when it does, new things begin to grow. Let us begin with the first practice: protect your inner world. You see, most people today live with an open door. Everything that happens in the world rushes inside: news, opinions, expectations, pressures. But a deep soul cannot live with such exposure. Your inner landscape is sacred, delicate, alive. It requires intentional boundaries. Just as a candle needs a shelter to keep its flame steady, your inner world needs protection from the winds of noise. This does not mean withdrawing from life. It means choosing what you allow to shape you. Some people will not understand your depth. Some environments will drain you. Some conversations will dim your flame. And that is perfectly fine. Not everyone is meant to enter your inner temple. Let us move to the second practice: create more than you consume. A deep soul becomes restless when only absorbing the world. You must also express, write, make art, reflect, speak. Create your own small acts of beauty, however simple or quiet. Because creation is not merely a hobby for you, it is a release valve, a way of letting your inner water flow so it does not stagnate. Even 5 minutes a day of honest expression can change the entire quality of your life. Now, the third practice: embrace solitude, not as escape, but as nourishment. You see, solitude for the deep soul is like sunlight for a plant. It is not optional, it is essential. Modern society treats solitude as loneliness, as if being alone is a sign of deficiency. But solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is the fear of being with oneself. Solitude is the joy of it. And you must rediscover the joy. Spend time with yourself, not to hide from the world, but to return to the root of your being. The fourth practice is perhaps the most challenging. Stop apologizing for your depth. Many deep souls shrink themselves to avoid unsettling others. You soften your truths, you quiet your perception, you dim your light. But you must understand, every time you do this, your soul feels the ache of self abandonment. Do not apologize for seeing clearly. Do not apologize for feeling deeply. Do not apologize for wanting meaningful things. Your depth is not a disruption, it is a contribution. Now, the fifth practice: align your life with your natural rhythm. Most suffering arises not from who you are, but from living in a rhythm that contradicts your nature. You are not meant for constant acceleration. You are not meant for endless ambition. You are not meant for the frantic pace of the world. Your rhythm is slower, deeper, more attentive. And if you honor this rhythm even a little, life becomes softer, smoother, more aligned. Wake slowly, move gently, speak intentionally, pause often. These simple acts return you to yourself. The sixth practice is one that most people overlook entirely. Let life be a dialogue, not a battle. The deep soul suffers when trying to control life, but life cannot be controlled. It can only be listened to. Approach life the way one approaches a river, not by demanding it flow your way, but by learning its currents. Walk with life, not ahead of it. If something resists, pause. If something invites, move. If something confuses, wait. When you stop forcing life, life begins to reveal itself to you. Finally, let us come to the seventh practice. Choose resonance over approval. Approval is the currency of the ego. Resonance is the language of the soul. Many people live for approval, to fit, to belong, to be like it. But a deep soul longs for something far rarer: connection. Seek the people, the places, the art, the ideas that make you feel more alive, not more acceptable. Approval satisfies the mind for a moment. Resonance nourishes the soul for a lifetime. And now, perhaps the most important reminder of all: you do not need to change who you are to live well. You only need to stop betraying who you are. When you begin living according to these simple practices, your misalignment becomes clarity, your confusion becomes direction, your sensitivity becomes intelligence. And slowly, quietly, life begins to fit, not because the world has changed, but because you have stopped abandoning the truth of your own nature. And now, as our time together gently draws toward its close, I invite you to slow your breath, not as a technique, not as a discipline, but as a simple remembering. Because the truth is, you are never as lost as you believe it. You have simply been walking through a world that speaks a different language than your soul, and that is perfectly alright. Let us sit together for a moment, you and I, in this quiet space between thoughts. Feel how the misalignment you once feared softens when you stop resisting it. Feel how the world becomes less hostile when you stop forcing yourself to fit. Feel how your nature expands when you stop apologizing for being who you are. Because beneath all the noise of the world, beneath the hurry, Beneath the pressure to become something, there is a presence. A quiet, luminous presence that has been with you from the beginning. Your depth was never the problem. Your depth was the doorway. You feel the world intensely because you are meant to experience life fully. You see the illusions because you are meant to awaken from them. You seek meaning because you are meant to live consciously, not mechanically. So, if you feel out of place, if you feel misaligned, if you feel like the world has never quite fit, perhaps it is because you were made to help the world remember something it has forgotten: the stillness, the presence, the depth. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to become anything. You only need to return to yourself. For the universe is not something outside you. The universe is looking through your eyes, breathing through your life, awakening through your awareness. So walk gently, breathe softly, live truthfully. And when the world feels heavy or confusing or too loud to bear, return to the depth within you. There, in that quiet inner space, you will find something unmistakable. You were never misaligned. You were simply becoming who you truly are. This is Salon Watts, whispering across the currents of time, reminding you that you are not alone.